Want to welcome to the program, Mr. Newt Gingrich. How are you this morning, sir?
Well, I'm doing great, and I'm delighted to have a chance to chat with you. We seem to have more than enough things going on.
I was going to say,
talk about.
So much is going on, and the focus of the world seems to have changed. And let me pose a couple of questions in regard to that to you. Presidential campaign started off as the focus of what was going on here in this year. And now with all of the coronavirus stuff, do you think that's going to be a great impact on what we're going to see when it comes around in November on this presidential election?
Well, I think that the combination of dealing with the virus and dealing with the economy are going to shape and define the election. I think if people conclude ultimately that Trump did a pretty decent job of pulling things together and that we are beating the virus, and if they conclude that he's the guy who can get us back to... Remember, the Trump economy was the best unemployment numbers in modern history. So one of the challenges for Biden is to make the case, why would we think Biden will do a better job of creating jobs when the Pelosi-Obama model was limping along for 10 years, really, from 2007 until Trump got elected. And the rally in the stock market starts literally the day after Trump wins the election. And it's just amazing how rapidly the business community switched gears. So you have to ask yourself, which of these two guys is more likely to create jobs? And you have to ask, which of them is more likely to be aggressive and entrepreneurial and find a way to solve the public health problem. And I think Trump's done a pretty decent job of staying on top of it and forcing changes and getting things done.
We're here in California, and there's kind of an arm wrestle thing going on between our Governor Newsom and the other governors of Oregon and Washington versus the president on when the economy can be opened back up again. Who do you think is going to win that battle, and how do you think that's going to go down?
Well, I think the president's going to be in favor of governors making the decision, and he has said as much in the last 2 days. There are states, Idaho, Montana, Oklahoma, where with a little bit of care and a little bit of extra work, I think they can start opening up pretty fast. I suspect that there are some rural parts of California which could probably open up pretty fast. Whether that then applies to the coastal belt from San Diego through San Francisco, I think that's a different problem. And so I think you have to have, my goal here would be, let's be practical, not ideological. Where it works to open back up, let's open up. Where we're not ready to open up, let's not open up. But recognize this is a continent-wide country of 330 million people, and that conditions can be amazingly different depending on where you are, and we shouldn't try to have a one-size-fits-all approach.
How do you think this whole scenario of our virus is going to affect our relationship and just the status of the United States versus with other countries in the world who are also up against the same challenges?
Well, I think now as we begin to get our act together and begin to produce the scale of production that the president has organized, I think by summer we'll be the primary provider of things like ventilators and masks and testing gear worldwide, and places in Africa and Latin America, parts of Europe, parts of South Asia will be desperate for our help. I can tell you from Italy, where I'm talking to you right now, they're very, very glad that the United States has announced a package of help because Italy is in enormous trouble. And in that sense, having the world's largest economy, and it was certainly the healthiest economy 5 weeks or 6 weeks ago, I think gives the president some capacity that you wouldn't automatically have. So that part will work. I think the other thing that's going to happen is we're going to increasingly realize how much the Chinese communist dictatorship lied, how much that's cost in lives and in money, how much the World Health Organization was basically subverted by the Chinese dictatorship, and lied to the world for at least a month.
Do you think something like
cost a tremendous amount?
Let me ask one last question. Do you think something like this, whether it be a virus or a health concern or some other economic issue, could come up again and cripple the world sometime in the future. Probably not this year, but maybe next couple of years or 5 years. Do you think that's a possibility?
I think it's a possibility. I think it requires us to think through a little better how we do public health and how we take care of it. But just remember, I don't care how good the system is, when the Chinese discovered, the communist dictatorship discovered, that they had doctors telling them about this virus, they locked the doctors up.
Yeah.
There's no system in the world that overcomes the willingness of a dictatorship to lie to it. And they literally were putting people in jail for saying, you better be worried about this virus.
Okay. Well, listen, we also have a book out from you that, while we're all sheltered in place, called Shakedown, that we could enjoy. What's the best route to find that book? And give us a quick one-line what it's all about.
Well, basically, Shakedown is about an Iranian-Russian effort to set off a nuclear weapon submarine near Washington and Baltimore to create a tidal wave based on real activities that the U.S. looked at in World War II and the Soviets looked at in the Cold War. And we have two heroes, an FBI agent and a Navy SEAL, and their job is to try to stop it before it happens. It's a roller coaster, and what we try to do is both entertain and educate. So if you are tired of worrying about the virus and you're tired of politics, a couple of hours of Shakedown might be just exactly what you need.
All right. I'm intrigued already. Newt Gingrich, thank you for joining us. Stay healthy, and we'll look forward to the next opportunity to speak with you, okay?
Do it.
Thanks. Bye-bye.